Artificial sweeteners have become a cornerstone of modern diets in America. For decades, people turned to them as a healthier alternative to sugar, especially seniors who were told that sugar-free meant heart-healthy, weight-friendly, and diabetes-safe. The logic was simple. Less sugar means fewer calories, fewer health problems, and maybe even weight loss. On the surface, that promise seemed perfect. But science often hides its truths beneath layers of careful discovery. And in recent years, researchers have uncovered new and disturbing evidence. Some artificial sweeteners may not be as harmless as once believed. Erythritol and xylitol, two common sugar alcohols, are now under the spotlight. Both are widely used in sugar-free drinks, snack foods, condiments, candies, and even dental care products. And both are now linked to higher risks of heart attacks, strokes, and even long-term brain cell damage. This is not fear-mongering. This is science. A study published in Nature Medicine investigated erythritol, a sweetener praised for its sugar-like taste and texture. Unlike table sugar, erythritol was thought to pass through the body without much effect. It doesn't provide calories. It doesn't spike blood sugar. It doesn't seem to cause cavities. On paper, erythritol looked like a miracle, but in medicine, nothing is ever that simple. Researchers studying patients at high risk of heart disease, many of them seniors, made a startling observation. Those with higher blood levels of erythritol faced a greater likelihood of heart attack, stroke, or even death. The more erythritol in the bloodstream, the greater the danger. And it wasn't just statistical noise. Blood samples revealed a disturbing biological mechanism. Erythritol seems to make platelets, the tiny blood cells that help form clots, more sensitive. When platelets become more prone to clotting, blockages form more easily. And a blockage in the heart or brain can mean catastrophe. For seniors, that catastrophe often means a disabling stroke or memory decline caused by restricted blood flow in the brain. The evidence doesn't stop with erythritol. Another sugar alcohol, xylitol, showed similar dangers. In a separate study, researchers asked healthy individuals to drink a beverage sweetened with xylitol. Within hours, their blood levels of xylitol spiked, and their platelets became hyperactive, primed to clot at the slightest trigger. That translates to a 50% higher risk of cardiovascular events for those with high levels of xylitol compared to those with low levels. This is not a small risk. This is a profound shift in how we understand artificial sweeteners, and it raises troubling questions for millions of Americans, especially seniors, who consume sugar-free or zero-sugar products daily. Before I go further into the science, I want to pause for a moment. Our team works tirelessly to bring you well-researched, evidence-based health information. If you find this content valuable, please subscribe to this channel. Stay with me until the end of this video for a complete breakdown of the research and practical steps you can take. And leave us a comment. Your feedback ensures that our work truly serves your needs. Now let's go deeper. Why would something that seems so harmless, so promising, become a hidden risk? The answer lies in the biology of sugar alcohols. Erythritol is classified as a polyol, a type of carbohydrate that the body struggles to metabolize. About 90% of erythritol is absorbed in the small intestine. But unlike glucose or fructose, it isn't broken down for energy. Instead, it circulates in the bloodstream and is eventually excreted in urine. At least that was the assumption. Newer evidence shows that it lingers in the blood longer than expected. And in seniors with cardiovascular risks, like obesity, diabetes, or high blood pressure, that lingering presence can be dangerous. Because platelets exposed to erythritol are not normal platelets anymore, they become more likely to stick together. They create stronger clots. They build blockages that, over time, can choke off vital blood flow to the heart and brain. This is how a seemingly safe sweetener becomes a cardiovascular hazard, and it's why researchers are sounding alarms. But before we leap to conclusions, let me emphasize, science moves carefully. One study, no matter how compelling, is not the final word. Replication, long-term trials, and broader investigations are essential. Yet even in this early stage, the message is clear. Artificial sweeteners may not be the innocent sugar replacements we believe them to be, especially not for seniors already at risk of stroke, memory loss, or heart disease. So, should you stop using them completely? Or are there safer ways to approach this? In the next section, we'll explore the broader history of artificial sweeteners. We'll see how products like Splenda, Truvia, and sugar-free sodas became part of everyday American life. And we'll examine the hidden costs of chasing sweetness without sugar. Stay tuned, because this story is only just beginning. Artificial sweeteners did not appear overnight. They have a long and complicated history in the American diet. The first major artificial sweetener, saccharin, was discovered by accident in the late 1800s. By the early 1900s, it became popular among Americans looking for a calorie-free alternative to sugar. During both World Wars, sugar was rationed, and saccharin gained a loyal following. For seniors alive during that era, sugar substitutes were seen as both practical and patriotic, but saccharin had its critics. As early as the 1970s, studies raised concerns that it could cause cancer in lab animals. This triggered warning labels in the US, though the product remained widely sold. Later came aspartame in the 1980s, marketed under names like NutraSweet and Equal. It was especially promoted to seniors and diabetics as a safe, sugar-free option. Soon after, sucralose entered the market, better known today as Splenda. Each new sweetener was promoted as the solution to America's growing health problems. Obesity, diabetes, and heart disease were climbing at alarming rates, and seniors were among the most vulnerable. So the food industry promised a simple fix: switch to diet sodas, sugar-free snacks, and low-calorie desserts. The message was clear: ditch sugar, choose sweeteners, live healthier. But that message was never the full truth. Behind the glossy ads and friendly packaging, science was raising red flags. Animal studies showed that certain sweeteners could alter brain chemistry. Some were linked to changes in memory, mood, and learning ability. Others disrupted gut bacteria, which play a key role in metabolism and immune health. Yet these findings rarely reached the public. Instead, companies spent millions on marketing campaigns. Products like Diet Coke and sugar-free Jell-O became household staples in America. Even dentists promoted xylitol as a tooth-friendly sugar substitute. And seniors, concerned about diabetes, weight gain, and heart problems, embraced these products in good faith. But the hidden costs are now coming into focus. Erythritol, once seen as harmless, is now tied to clotting events and cardiovascular risks. Xylitol, praised for its dental benefits, may raise stroke risk by up to 50%. And both may play a role in brain cell damage by restricting blood flow in tiny vessels. For seniors, the consequences are especially concerning. The brain is highly sensitive to oxygen and blood supply. Even small clots can reduce circulation to areas responsible for memory and cognition. Over time, this can contribute to memory loss, cognitive decline, and dementia-like symptoms. This is why the connection between artificial sweeteners, stroke, and brain health cannot be ignored. Doctors and researchers now caution that seniors may be the group at highest risk, because seniors often have existing health conditions like high blood pressure, atrial fibrillation, or diabetes, conditions that already make blood clotting more dangerous. When you add sweeteners like erythritol or xylitol to that mix, the risks multiply. And yet the packaging still says zero sugar or healthy alternative. This creates a dangerous illusion of safety. Many seniors reach for these products thinking they are making the smarter choice. But in reality, they may be trading one problem, sugar, for another that is even more life-threatening. This is why it is crucial to understand the full science behind artificial sweeteners, not just the promises, but also the hidden dangers. In the next part, we will break down the science of blood clotting and brain cell health. You'll learn exactly how these sweeteners interfere with your body and why seniors in America need to be extra cautious about every sugar-free product they consume. To understand the risks, we need to understand the body. Your blood is not just a liquid. It is a living, circulating system carrying oxygen, nutrients, and signals across the body. At the center of clotting are tiny cell fragments called platelets. Think of platelets as the first responders of your bloodstream. When you get a cut, platelets rush to the site. They stick together, forming a clot to stop the bleeding. This is a natural and life-saving process. But when platelets become overly sensitive, they clot even when they shouldn't. They can clump inside arteries, forming dangerous blockages. If that clot blocks blood flow to the heart, the result is a heart attack. If it blocks blood flow to the brain, the result is a stroke. Now here's where artificial sweeteners like erythritol and xylitol come into play. Recent studies show these sweeteners increase platelet reactivity. That means platelets become hyperactive. They respond too quickly, too strongly, and too often. The result? More clots, and larger, more stubborn clots that are harder to break apart. For seniors, this is especially concerning, because with age, blood vessels become stiffer, arteries lose their elasticity, and the natural balance between clotting and circulation becomes fragile. Add diabetes, high blood pressure, or atrial fibrillation, common in seniors, and the risk multiplies. Now let's focus on the brain. The brain depends on a steady, rich supply of oxygen and nutrients. Even a brief interruption in blood flow can damage brain cells. This is why strokes are so devastating. They don't just cause weakness or paralysis. They can also destroy memory, speech, and reasoning. In seniors, the damage can extend further, because even small clots that don't cause a full stroke can create silent strokes. Silent strokes may not show obvious symptoms at first, but over time, they add up. They damage tiny vessels deep inside the brain. They reduce blood flow to regions responsible for memory and cognition. And eventually, they contribute to cognitive decline and dementia-like symptoms. This is where artificial sweeteners raise another alarm. By making blood more likely to clot, they increase the chance of both visible and silent strokes. And every silent stroke kills brain cells that will never come back. Think of it like a dimming light bulb. Each tiny clot turns the brightness down just a little more, until one day the brain struggles to function the way it once did. For seniors in America, this connection is especially critical, because many already live with risk factors: cholesterol, high blood pressure, obesity, or diabetes. And many rely heavily on sugar-free products to manage weight or blood sugar. What they may not realize is that these products may actually increase the very risks they are trying to avoid. This is why experts now recommend caution. Minimize your intake of erythritol, xylitol, and similar sweeteners. Read ingredient labels carefully, especially on diet drinks, zero-sugar snacks, and even dental products. Because the danger isn't always where you expect it. Even sugar-free chewing gum or mouthwash can contain these sweeteners. And for a senior with fragile blood vessels, even small daily exposures may add up. Doctors are not saying you must panic, but they are saying be aware. Science is revealing that sweet without sugar may not mean safe. In fact, it may mean higher risk of stroke, brain damage, and memory decline. In the next part, we will explore the real-life impact. We'll look at how seniors in America are experiencing these issues, and we'll talk about what practical steps you can take right now to protect your heart, your brain, and your future health. The science may sound distant, but the impact is real. Every day, millions of seniors in America consume artificial sweeteners without a second thought. A can of diet soda with lunch, a packet of Splenda stirred into morning coffee, a sugar-free candy to help with cravings, or a mouthful of xylitol-based mouthwash before bedtime. Each choice feels small, even harmless. But together, these daily habits create a pattern, and that pattern may be putting seniors at greater risk of stroke, heart attack, and memory loss. Doctors across the U.S. are noticing a troubling trend. Seniors who believe they are making healthier choices often end up with unexpected health complications. Take diet sodas, for example. For decades, they were marketed as the guilt-free alternative. 0 calories, 0 sugar, all the taste. But research now links diet soda consumption to higher rates of stroke and dementia in older adults. One study followed thousands of Americans over many years. It found that seniors who drank 1 or more diet sodas a day had almost triple the risk of stroke or dementia. Triple the risk. That's not a coincidence. That's a warning. And yet, diet soda remains one of the most popular beverages among older adults in the U.S. The same story repeats with sugar-free snacks and low-carb alternatives. Grocery store shelves are filled with keto-friendly cookies, diabetic-safe chocolate, and sugar-free protein bars. Many of these products are sweetened with erythritol or xylitol, and the labels proudly advertise them as health-conscious. But the reality, as research now shows, is that these products may actually increase clotting, harm the heart, and damage brain cells. For seniors already managing multiple medications, this adds another layer of risk. Because many prescriptions, such as blood pressure or cholesterol drugs, already affect circulation. Combine that with a daily intake of artificial sweeteners, and the body becomes even more vulnerable. The tragedy is that most seniors are unaware of this connection. They trust the sugar-free label. They believe they are protecting their health, when in reality they may be trading sugar's risks for something far more dangerous. Stroke survivors often share similar stories. A senior switches to diet soda to manage diabetes. Years later, they experience a sudden clot, leaving them with weakness or memory problems. When doctors investigate, they find high levels of sugar alcohols like erythritol in the bloodstream. These are not isolated cases. They are becoming part of a bigger picture in American healthcare, and it's costing seniors their independence, their memory, and their quality of life. So what can be done? The first step is awareness. Seniors need to know that sugar-free does not always mean safe. The second step is moderation. Cut back on diet sodas, sugar-free snacks, and products with artificial sweeteners. Replace them with whole foods, fresh fruit, unsweetened yogurt, or naturally flavored water. The third step is communication. Talk with your doctor. Ask if your cardiovascular or stroke risk should be evaluated, especially if you consume these products regularly. A simple blood test and health check could help identify hidden dangers early. And finally, read labels carefully. Look for erythritol, xylitol, sorbitol, or other artificial sweeteners. If they are listed among the first few ingredients, the product is heavily sweetened. And for seniors, that may mean higher risk than reward. The truth is, there is no magic shortcut to health, not even sugar-free. In the next part, we will explore the alternatives. What natural choices exist for seniors who still crave sweetness? And how can you enjoy your food while also protecting your brain, your heart, and your future? Stay with me, because the solutions are just as important as the warnings. Warnings alone are not enough. Seniors in America need solutions they can trust, because sweetness is part of life, and eliminating it completely is not always realistic. The goal is not to live without sweetness. The goal is to enjoy it safely, without risking stroke or brain cell damage. So let's look at healthier alternatives. First, consider natural sweeteners in moderation. Honey, maple syrup, or molasses contain natural sugars. Yes, they add calories. But unlike erythritol or xylitol, they don't trigger platelet overreaction or clotting. Used sparingly, they can be a safer choice for seniors. Second, try fruit-based sweetness. Fresh fruit, dried fruit, or pureed fruit can sweeten foods naturally. Bananas and oatmeal. Dates blended into smoothies. Berries on top of yogurt. These not only add sweetness, but also deliver vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants, nutrients that protect the brain and heart rather than harm them. Third, explore stevia and monk fruit. These plant-based sweeteners are not perfect, but so far, research suggests they are safer than sugar alcohols. They do not appear to raise clotting risks, and they have been used for centuries in traditional diets. Still, moderation remains the key. Even with natural options, too much sweetness trains the brain to crave more, and for seniors, that cycle can be hard to break. Another strategy is retraining the palate. Gradually reduce your dependence on overly sweet foods. Instead of sweetening tea with 2 packets, try 1. Instead of diet soda, switch to sparkling water with a slice of lemon. Over time, your taste buds adjust, and foods you once thought were bland begin to taste richer and more satisfying. This small change can have a huge impact on long-term brain and heart health. Hydration is another overlooked tool. Many seniors mistake thirst for sugar cravings. Drinking water throughout the day reduces the urge for sweetened drinks. Adding cucumber slices, orange wedges, or mint leaves can provide natural flavor. Cooking at home also makes a difference. When you prepare meals yourself, you control what goes in. No hidden erythritol, no surprise xylitol, just real food, made with intention. Community programs in America are beginning to support this shift. Some senior centers now offer cooking classes focused on heart-healthy meals. Others provide nutrition workshops to help older adults read labels and understand risks. Taking advantage of these resources can empower seniors to make better choices. And remember, sweetness is only one part of health. Regular exercise, enough sleep, and routine medical checkups are just as important. Even short daily walks can improve circulation and reduce clotting risks. Brain activities like puzzles, reading, or social interaction help keep memory sharp. Together, these lifestyle choices create a powerful defense against stroke and brain decline. Artificial sweeteners promised convenience. But convenience without health is not true wellness. Seniors deserve better, and the good news is, safer choices are within reach.